We did a mock draft, 3.0. So you have the Titans taking Cam Ward number 1 overall, and you have the Browns coming back and taking Shedeur Sanders. So we've talked about Shedeur. You have the Giants taking Abdul Carter number 3. Then at 33, you have the Browns coming back and taking TreVeyon Henderson. I got to be honest with you. If they come out of the first 2 rounds of the draft with Henderson and Sanders, you got a couple of guys that I'm intrigued as what the offense might look like.
Yeah, and I think that's got to be the direction Andrew Berry goes. I know he talks about, he approaches drafts as need agnostic and approaches it like he has an expansion team. I just don't think this is the year to do that. The Browns, again, I've said it a couple times today, they were dead last in the NFL in scoring, and they have one of the worst quarterback situations right now in football when you're not even sure who's going to be in that room going forward. So I think this has to be a draft where you really attack offense more than Andrew Berry's ever done. I think he's had 5 picks in the first 2 rounds in his GM tenure. I know he's traded a bunch of those away, but still, only once in the first 2 rounds of any draft has he taken an offensive player, and that was the first player he ever drafted was Jedrick Wills Jr., the 10th overall pick in 2020. He's got to start leaning for offense, especially in a division where you have to contend with Cincinnati's explosive offense and the Ravens who can outscore just about anybody. You got to have an offense that competes out there. It's not just finding the quarterback. That's the biggest piece of it, but you also have to give him weapons. I've talked before when it comes to TreVeyon Henderson. I've said that for a while that the Browns really need to fix and prioritize rebuilding the run game. Do that with a guy. You do that, I think, in part with a guy like Henderson, who I like probably more than Quinshon Judkins, because I think Henderson has shown that he's just a little more explosive. That I think if you have that big play element out of the backfield, it really can open up a lot of things, especially for a young quarterback. If you end up drafting a guy like Shedeur, he never had a running game in Colorado. You give him TreVeyon Henderson behind an offensive line of some veterans, and you rework the scheme a little bit. I think you have something to build on.